Loofahs are the genus of a group of gourds, really, that are in the cucurbit family, just like squash and zucchini, those types of things. And the loofah has really a lot of different common names that you'll hear it from. You'll hear it called a sponge vegetable or a dishcloth gourd, even a Chinese okra, some people call it. But this is what the loofah looks like on the vine, and you can see we've got a large one here, and we've got all different kinds of sizes and shapes on our vine here. Now we're growing them on a trellis because they're a vine crop, and actually our trellis is about 18 feet wide. And we've got two plants planted down here in the center that are covering this entire side, and only one plant behind me. And you can tell they're very aggressive, so you need to give them a lot of space and a lot of room. And we just keep winding the vines back in to keep it out of our path here. But now the thing you need to remember, if you're going to try to grow these on the ground, which some people do successfully, you need to make sure you mulch first, because if they're in ground contact, sometimes they will rot on you as they're maturing. So it's real important to either keep them mulched, but if you've got the design, go ahead and put them up on the trellis, and actually you'll save a little bit of space that way too. Now again, you can see that they're very aggressive. They have a lot of tendrils, and they're just loaded with flowers this morning. But the thing that's kind of, I guess, discouraging for some people are not all of these flowers are going to make fruit. The majority of these flowers are male flowers. And if you'll remember with your watermelons and cantaloupes, usually the earlier flowers are the male flowers and they drop off. Later on you start getting the female. Here it's interchanged, and the majority of the flowers are always going to be male. Now let me back up here and show you some of the female. This one is a male, and you'll get clusters like this. And the way you know is you need to look at the base of the flower. You'll actually see an immature fruit, or the ovary, and on this one we don't have that. Now back here we've got one that has the fruit on it while it's in full bloom. And then when we look back up in here a little bit more, you'll see them just starting out with the flower bud on the very end. So occasionally you'll find them, but again, the majority of these are the male flowers, which are going to drop off and never set fruit. If you'll notice, there's a lot of bee activity, so obviously the bees are pollinating them, and that's real important. And of course, early in the morning when the blooms are open, that's where you see all the activity, and it's also cooler for the bees as well. Now these are mostly grown for the fibrous interior, and let me show you some of the different sizes again. Now, you noticed a large one that we had there. We've got several different sizes. Some of them will start turning on the vine like this one has allowed to do here, but we get different reports that sometimes when we let them go quite that long, they don't really last as long once you get them prepared. Another good stage, this one is not as large, but you can see it's just starting to turn a pale color, bleach out a little bit. Really, that's a good stage for you to go in and prepare it. You'll notice that you get a lot of deformed ones too. You'll get a heavy fruit set, so one thing you may want to do is cut these off, the ones that are deformed, and then allow your other ones to get a little bit bigger, so you're doing a little bit of selective pruning or thinning on them. And of course, we'll talk a little bit later too about how you can eat them. But the first thing that you want to do is soak them, and it may take several days. And what you do is you just soak them in water. Now you can cut them up into the pieces that you need, and remember it's for the fibrous inside that we're going to use them. Now this one's been soaking about 24 hours, and it's starting to fall apart. And really, the longer you soak them, they'll pretty much fall apart themselves, and you just want to peel off the outside like we're doing here, and it's real easy to come off again, and then you'll start getting some of the seeds to come out, and you'll need to get the pulp out as well. But again, just soak them. It may take 3 or 4 days for the outside to start peeling off, and that's what you're wanting to try to do. Now there's two ways you can do it after this stage. You can clean them up, again clean the pulp and the seeds out, and just cut them into your sizes, lay them outside, let them dry. But some people actually like them a little bit whiter color. Now you can see the color of this one's kind of a dingy yellow. We've got one over here that we've got soaking that we've used a little bleach. Now we used a 50-50 ratio, and that gives us a pretty white color. And I'm going to bring it back over here so you can see the comparison. But see how much that bleached it out using the bleach. Now, some people use 10%. It depends on how white you want it. Again, some people don't like to bleach them because of the odor it leaves with it. And sometimes it really won't last as long when you're using it with dishes or taking a bath or however you want to use a sponge. But the thing to remember is after you bleached it, again, you need to leave it out as well so it will dry. Now the last thing I want to tell you about, there are really two types of the loofahs. There's an angled skin one, which is what we've got here. We've got grooves in it. And there's also a smooth type. Now the smooth one won't have the grooves, and actually you don't know unless you order them that way, but the seeds are a little bit narrower on the smooth skin one, and it's a sweeter flavor. And this one's kind of a pungent smell when you harvest it and also when you cut into it. But if you cut the loofahs when they're less than 6 or 4 inches long, they're very succulent, kind of will remind you of a cucumber or zucchini, and these are the stage that you can eat them in. Again, if you're really going to grow them to eat them, it's best to get the smooth type. Well, now that we've talked about how to use them in the fiber stage, let's take a few of the smaller ones in and see what kind of recipes Barb has for us in the kitchen.
We hope you enjoyed this video. It's part of our OK Gardening Classics YouTube channel. You can also find more recent videos on our Oklahoma Gardening YouTube channel. And join us on social media for great gardening tips, photos, and discussion.